Hi there guys, welcome to BoxPred. Thank you for listening as always. Let's take a look at the fight happening tonight between Benn and Chris Algieri for the WBA Continental Welterweight title. Benn is 19-0 unbeaten with 12 stoppages to his name, an orthodox fighter, going in there against Chris Algieri. 25 wins, 3 losses, 9 stoppages to his name, also listed as an orthodox fighter. So this is an intriguing fight because Benn is on the come up in his career. He's looking to make moves, he's looking to edge towards world title fights, and this is a real test for him against Chris Algieri, who is an experienced fighter who's been in there with world class opposition and has held world title himself. Algieri does bring a test to Benn, and the difficulty with this one is that Algieri was out of the ring from 2019 until 2021, so he was out of the ring for about 2 years. And then he was out in August of this year against Mikel Lapierre in the fight which he won by unanimous decision over 10 rounds. And to be honest, I've watched that fight. I wasn't really impressed with it. I thought it was quite a low quality fight. There wasn't a lot of urgency from what I could see. And the real quality was coming from Algieri, but again, I wasn't overly impressed with it. And Algieri didn't seem to be moving like he used to. You know, if you look at the Algieri, he used to be bouncing around on his feet against the likes of Errol Spence. And, you know, even though he got stopped in that fight, his energy just seemed a little bit lower than usual. Okay, and I started asking the question: well, if this guy is made to move for the whole fight, has age caught up with him? Will he be able to move and keep away all the fight against a guy like Benn, who brings high energy? Before the Lapierre fight, Algieri was in there with Tommy Coyle in 2019 and he stopped Tommy Coyle. Some lovely body shots actually, and I think body shots are going to be key for Algieri in this fight. He needs to slow Benn down and make him think twice about opening up by using those body shots, and he's got the skills there to do it. Okay, the fight he fought against Lapierre last time out was fought in reasonably close quarters. You know, he was very much front-footed, particularly for the first few rounds, and it was sometimes in some inside fighting going on, but it wasn't really outside moving around type fighting. So Algieri looks in good condition for this fight, looking at the weigh-ins, and it's one of those fights where you're not sure which Chris Algieri you're going to get. He's 37 years of age, and I think he's still bringing plenty to the table, but the question is, what game plan does he use? Does he use a plan of movement? Because looking at Benn in his last fight against Adrian Granados, I wouldn't say he struggled. You know, he won the fight, and on the scorecards it was quite comfortable. But Granados was the mover in the fight, and he was using pretty good sort of lateral movement, and he was forcing Benn to cut off the ring, and Benn was trying to get close and using a lot of hooks. And in the last couple of fights, Benn, I think, has fought 2 different styles of fight really. One of them was very successful against Samuel Vargas, and then the one against Granados, which he went the distance. Now, against Samuel Vargas, Benn came out pretty quickly, pretty high energy, and he was throwing really vicious straight shots, and they're what got to Vargas. Okay, if you watch that fight, how he got him in was straight shots, jab, straight right, and they really pierced through the guard, and he ended up catching Vargas and stopping him. And that's a really good version of Benn, which I think we need to see initially in this fight. Because against Granados, a lot of it was chasing Granados around the ring, being on the front foot, being the aggressor, but there's a lot of hooks going on, and a lot of chasing the fight. And I would advise Benn not to get into a chasing match with Algieri. If Algieri tries to move, I think that Benn needs to try and invite him back in. Guys have learnt this lesson, okay, with game plans. Even a guy like Errol Spence Jr., who is a powerful guy, tough, strong, big guy for the division, okay, he knew that inviting Algieri in was a good idea, and not to chase him around the ring. Because if you look at Algieri going down in that fight against Errol Spence Jr., he was caught after the exchange, okay? And I've seen this happen a couple of times with Algieri. If you entice him in and allow him to attack, it's not even a counterpunch. It's a bit of kind of an after the fact thing. He leaves himself open after he's thrown his combos. And that's, if you watch the Errol Spence fight, that's when you can catch him and you can hurt him. And I would advise Conor Benn in this fight not to chase the fight and to play kind of a forwards-backwards game with Algieri. Yes, put some pressure on when it's needed, but also allow him in and then look for those to counter him with these late counters when he's coming out of his combos. If you're going to chase him on with hooks like you did against Granados, I think you're going to have a long night, and Algieri could... That's when I think Algieri could take a points decision here, okay? If you play a bit of a forwards-backwards game and mix up the styles, mix up the requirements, then I think that you can have a lot of success against Chris Algieri. And if you start fast and you throw straight shots like you did against Samuel Vargas, you could even get Algieri out of there. You need to be high energy because Algieri will throw plenty of punches, so Conor Benn needs to throw plenty. And don't let Algieri dictate the pace of the fight, okay? I would push a pace in this fight. I would move Algieri around the ring, and then I would invite him in, and then I would pick and choose my timings, okay? I would expect Conor Benn to try and keep it a bit more close. I don't really want to see him chasing Algieri around the ring. Either way, I think that Conor Benn wins the fight, and I'm going to take Conor Benn by decision, with the chance also that Conor Benn stops Algieri, okay? Let me know what you guys think. I think it's a competitive fight. I think Algieri potentially gives Benn some problems, but if Benn fights the right fight, he could win this comfortably. So I do enjoy, guys. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you like my content. This is BoxPred. I'm out.